Evening. Today is May 31st, and this is the resubmission of the if-else assignment. This is a resubmission because my first submission, the audio input was not there, so I couldn't hear anything. I was given the privilege to resubmit, so I will explain the code one more time and making sure that the audio is there. So this assignment was just you ask the user to input three numbers, and those three numbers would be sorted in ascending order um, using if-else statements. So when I first started this assignment, my initial thoughts were I'll create a new Python file and name it sort numbers. From there on, I would ask the user to input the three numbers as inputs, and using the if-else statements, they would rearrange the numbers into ascending order. The output of the program should be numbers in ascending order and then the numbers as how they should be. So if we go back to the program, first numbers 1, 2, and 3 are inputs, and these inputs are float numbers. In this case, the if-else statements are really alike. They're kind of like tongue twisters. They repeat a lot, so I'll try to explain it as I go through the inputs. So I first started with the inputs 1, 2, and 3, just in ascending order already to see how it would behave. And in this case, the first branch, it goes if number 1, in this case 1, is smaller than 2 and 3, so 2 and 3, then the output would be 1, 2, and 3. In this case, that should be the output, so it correctly did it. I would also, this else statement would be if number if the second number was actually bigger than this one, then it would just flip them inside out and it would make them 1, 3, 2 to make them in ascending order. I did try with multiple inputs to see how the program would behave. So here I put it in reverse, so 3, 2, 1. Once again, we go through the code and it would check to see if number 1, in this case 3, is smaller than 2 and 3, so 2 and 1. In this case, that is not true, so it knows that number 1 is the biggest number. It would move on to the second one, is number 2, in this case 2, smaller than number 1, in this case 3, that being true, but number 2, in this case 2, being smaller than 1, in this case that is not true, so it ends there, and it'll go to the last part to see if number 1 and 2, if number 1 is smaller than number 2, in this case that is not true, so it flips them again, and it puts them as 3, 2, and 1. In this case, 3, 2, 1, it should be the correct order. Now, let's try it with a different input so that they're not just ordered, like arranged kind of. So in this case, I did it as 2, 3, and 1. So in this case, number 1, in this case 2, smaller than 3, which is true, but 2 is not smaller than, I'm sorry, 2 is not smaller than 1, so it continues on to this one. Number 2, in this case 3, is not smaller than it's not smaller than 2, and 3 is also not smaller than 1. So in this case, it knows that 3 is the biggest number. I mean, sorry, the number 2, in this case being 3, is the biggest number. So the output should be 2, 1, 3, and as it's stated right here, 2, 1, 3, which then just ends the code. And yeah, it's just basically just that cycle. It would go through each branch, repeating and repeating, just checking to see which number is smallest, the middle number, and then the largest number. And yeah.